welcome to Getting There, where we're always surviving, we're sometimes thriving, and we're just trying our best to make it. I'm Amanda, and I'm here with my co-host.
And I'm Ellie, and this podcast is produced by her campus at Loyola University, Chicago.
Today, we're going to be talking about a really unique part of the college experience, which is voting. It's unique because it's not something that happens often, and it's not immediately what you think of as like a typical college experience. And yet most students have their first voting experience when they're in college, and that's kind of a big deal. And this year is each of our first presidential elections, which means it's even more of a big deal.
Definitely.
And I do want to mention, just before we get started, I don't think that this conversation will get too political, but if it does, any opinions we share are ours and ours alone, and they do not represent our chapter of her campus as a whole, or Loyola University, Chicago.
Right.
Ellie, do you want to talk about your experience voting this year?
Well, I would love to. I had a good experience voting. I really enjoyed the process. I had mailed myself an absentee ballot because I didn't know if I was going to go home and vote in person, and I wanted to have it just in case. But the closer we got to the election, I was nervous that the ballot wouldn't have gotten there in time anyways. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to go home, and I wanted to experience voting in person for some reason because I thought it would be cool. And my ballot location was at our city hall, which was like 15 minutes from my house. They had like the streets blocked off so other cars like couldn't get in the way of voting traffic, and I thought that was really great. And they also had like a section for people to just drop off their absentee ballots if they had gotten them, which I thought was cool too, just to make it easy for people and accelerate that convenience.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and the volunteers there gave my dog a treat, so I was super excited, and so was he.
That's so adorable.
Yeah. I'm from Minnesota, by the way, so this is just how it worked when I was there. But what was your experience like when you went?
Yeah, so I live in Ohio, and I also decided to go home. The absentee ballot thing was just making me very anxious. I had, like, delayed my application, and so, like, probably to the point where it was too late.
Right.
And so I was like, I should just go home. I voted early in person. And so I voted at my county board of elections, and the polling station was very COVID friendly.
Yes, mine was too. Masks
really
and hand sanitizer everywhere, which was good.
Yeah, we had these little like disposable styluses that we could use on the touchscreen machines.
That's fun.
Yeah, so
they just told me to take my pen home with me, and I was like, great, I voted and a free pen. This is cool.
Nice.
Because they didn't want to spread germs.
Right. Yeah, so I really appreciated that part of it, because like the one draw of the absentee ballot was that you didn't have to like come into contact with anybody, but I still felt very safe at the polling station.
That's good. That's also important.
And the energy like in person I feel like is just so unique because everybody is just there to do their part. Mm-hmm. Everyone's there to do the same thing. Like
there's something about coming together to do your civic duty.
Exactly. No matter what your political opinions are, no matter who you're voting for, like you're all there to vote, to get your voice heard. And it's very empowering.
Yeah, I was feeling so empowered afterwards. Like I was blasting music in my car. I got a Starbucks for myself. And I just walked into my house like no one could mess with me for some reason. I had all the confidence in the world.
Incredible.
I was like, if I could feel like that every day.
Yeah.
That'd be different.
I was definitely the youngest person there by far. I did go on like the very first day of early voting in Ohio, so I don't know if that had anything to do with it. But yeah, I was definitely the youngest one there. But there was an older woman in line behind me who said that it was her first time voting too.
That's like, crazy.
It was so cute. It was.
I love that you had that commonality.
Yeah, it was like a little concerning because like. Maybe should have been voting this whole time.
Yeah, but good for her.
But yeah, it was heartworming. It was so good that she
showed
out
to come
for
out this year. An important election.
Yeah, and so then we just had that. I was like, I'm a first time voter too. And then when I got up to the actual like polling part, one of the poll workers found out that it was my first time voting, and he announced it to the room.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Everybody cheered for me. It was so cute. I felt like a little baby.
That's so
However,
adorable.
It was also
you had your
really
15
adorable.
seconds of fame.
Yeah, I really did.
I was obsessed with my sticker. I like didn't know who was giving out stickers, but I knew I wanted to get one just to feel so accomplished. And I grabbed my sticker and I put it on and started taking like 15 selfies, sending it to in my family group chat. Like, look what I did.
Yeah,
They were
one
like,
of the
"Great."
workers that was at my station was like, "Don't forget your sticker." I said, "Sir, that's what I'm here for."
Oh, you thought I would forget? Never.
And I just hated having to sit out last election just
Yeah.
to watch and know that like my voice wasn't being heard. There was nothing that I could
Yes,
do about
yeah.
it.
There was so much tension and such an intense public reaction in the last election that it was weird to sit through that and feel powerless because
Yeah.
you couldn't have participated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so obviously there's been a lot of like that same kind of like public reaction this election, but
Mhm.
I felt a lot better knowing that like that I actually did something about it.
For sure.
And it was nice, especially because Ohio is a swing state.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
Okay, it'll be interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hopefully
But
my vote actually counts for something.
no, yeah, I get that. I try to encourage people, or at least the people that I know like don't usually vote. I'm like, please just vote. Like your vote
Mhm.
matters.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
not voting almost counts for a specific side at this point.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. But it is definitely cool to vote in an election finally, because I just remember going to school like the day after the election last time, and it was just so many emotions from everyone
Mhm.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, even before you can vote, like it still affects you. Like the election
Yeah.
still affects you,
I
and
remember
it's still
growing up, I think it was when Bush and Gore ran together, and my parents were kind of upset that, you know, Bush won. And I remember wondering why it was a big deal, because I was in like elementary school.
Mhm.
And I was just like, like, why are they so upset about this? But now I'm like, I completely get it.
Yeah,
It's
I
crazy.
remember it was third grade
Mhm.
that Obama ran for his first time.
Yes.
I was in the third grade, and they made us like fake vote, and I was
Okay.
like, I don't know, this means nothing to me.
I just saw something on Twitter or Facebook or something, and Nickelodeon, like the TV channel,
Yes, I
had,
saw that.
like young kids vote in like a fake election.
Yeah.
And I was like, if these young kids can vote in a fake election, everyone else should be able to vote.
Yes,
Everyone.
absolutely.
But I understand that it is hard with the absentee ballots. Like,
yeah, there's definitely a difficulty there, and I think that's part of the reason that like historically, like the 18 to 29-year-old
Yeah.
is like range has had less than half of their like eligible voters actually vote. I think part of it is the absentee ballots, because like, you know, you go to college, you can't vote at your polling station all the time, and absentee ballots are hard.
They're hard. It feels like a test. It feels like a Scantron I have to fill out, and
Mhm.
I was nervous to do it. I think I did it for like a general election a year ago, and I just felt like I had no idea what to do, so I was almost nervous to do it this time because I knew if I filled out something wrong, it wouldn't be counted, and I was scared. So I
Yeah.
was like, why doesn't anyone teach you how to do this
Yeah.
in your life?
It's also just a big process. Like you have to mail
For sure.
in an application to get your
Yes,
ballot.
and so you have to be thinking ahead.
Yes, and that's just like that's not the college lifestyle, the young person lifestyle is just like not.
Yeah.
At least in my personal experience, I'm very much flying by the seat of my pants. And
every day. It's called Getting There.
Yeah,
that is the podcast.
We are
name,
getting
so
there. Yeah, I just simply like it was stressing me out so much. So that was why I decided to go home. But I know not everybody has that option.
Yeah, not everyone has the luxury to be able to go home, and there can be all sorts of complications. Or someone can be too far from the voting place.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even think about that kind of stuff until it affects you.
And also, they don't teach you anything. About that.
Oh my gosh!
Like,
if they had a high school class for this, I feel like it would help so much.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Even just like a short seminar or something, because like you typically turn 18 your senior year of high school, and so that's the time to be like registering to vote and stuff. I feel like I just simply did not know.
Well, like, you learn how to graduate and you learn how to, like, order your hat and gown and stuff. It could just be the same process, but replace everything with how to vote.
Mm-hmm.
They could do it.
Exactly.
I mean, this is all in an ideal world where our public schools are actually funded. But
yes,
in my dreams, like, that is a reality.
Yeah. I know personally, for this presidential election specifically, I was unprepared for the other things that were on the ballot. And I know
Yeah.
that I personally could have done a better job preparing myself to do
Mhm.
that. But like, I feel like that should be a more common thing that's
Yeah,
taught.
like
that-
researching the candidates should be also something that's taught, because we do so much research for college, and then I was like,
Mhm.
well, how do I apply that to being an informed citizen?
Right.
Like, Google is your best friend, I guess, but it still is a little bit of work to find, you know, like a candidate's website and look through it all and read and
Mhm.
just gain that information and knowledge. And it's so much easier to just go in and be like, well, this person sounds like they might have a plan.
Yeah.
I'll vote for them.
Yeah.
You know, like, but you do really want to be informed when you're going in.
Mm-hmm.
I felt a little bit guilty that I hadn't filled out some of the ballot like boxes, because I just didn't know enough about the candidates. It was for like my like school's like student council or something, or the district council.
Yeah,
I was
my
like, I don't
mom
know
actually-
what's going on at school.
Before I went in to vote, my mom actually had to remind me. She said, "You don't have to fill out every single
Oh,
part."
wow,
I
a
was
queen.
like, okay, good to know, because otherwise I would have been stressing out.
Yeah.
Also, I will say, voting in person, even if you do the research beforehand, it's a lot to remember. Like,
That's true
okay,
too.
for
It's not
this
like you can
position,
take a
I'm
cheat
gonna-
sheet in there.
Right, exactly. That is one perk of the absentee ballot, I
Yeah.
guess, that you can have it sitting there in front of you and look up,
And
do your
take your
research at
time.
the same time.
For
yeah.
sure.
But yeah, I was definitely like feeling rushed. Like I wanted to just vote and leave because I knew that who I wanted to vote for
Yeah.
the president, and I just wanted to do that and leave. And then there was like 3 more pages, and I was like, oh no.
geez, but if I don't fill them out, I just don't know what it is or isn't affecting sometimes too.
Right,
Because I don't
exactly.
even know enough about the local government to
Mhm.
be able to know what positions do what.
Yeah.
Which sounds silly. Like, I do need to educate myself more. But
But I'm
I
sure
felt
there
that.
are so many people in the same
In a
position.
similar
You
position.
know, like we can't all be political science majors. Like we
Mhm.
can't all be
that's so
like
true.
100% educated on every single thing.
Yeah.
So I think there's definitely needs to be like a more accessible way to like prepare yourself.
Agreed. Yeah, for sure. But also, I get what you're saying about just wanting to get in and like vote for the president and then leave, because we had the cardboard stand-up things in front of some of the
Mm-hmm.
places to sit, and it just reminded me of standardized testing in high school.
Oh my gosh.
Triggered my
yes.
fight or flight mode immensely.
In grade school, when your teachers would have you like take one of your folders
Yeah.
and make a little
Yeah, oh
barrier.
my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
What times? Yeah. But like you said about having the 18 to 29-year-old crowd of people voting more, I feel like that has become more popular because all of these social media platforms are really encouraging people to do it.
Mhm.
Like, I can't go on Instagram without getting reminded, like, did you register to vote? Did you vote already? Like, what's your plan? It always is just telling me.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. I don't know what has prompted, like, these companies to do that, but
yeah.
it's awesome.
Yeah, and it definitely feels like it's this year specifically. I don't know if it's just because I wasn't paying attention before, but I feel like I've never
Yeah.
seen anything like that on Twitter, on Instagram, on just like random companies' websites even.
Yeah.
I think that speaks a lot to this election. You know, like it almost this year saying to go out and vote is a political stance.
Yes.
Which, like, it really shouldn't be, but I do think that says a lot about, like, where our country is at and, like, how
Yeah, I
different
agree.
corporations and stuff are feeling.
Yeah.
Um,
It has become so much more accepted, I guess, too. And, like, companies now have to do it for fear that they'll be criticized if they don't say something.
Right.
I almost
right.
think, which, I mean, then I don't know if their reaction is as authentic or genuine, but at least they're doing something.
Right, exactly. I
Which
don't
is
care
better than
why
nothing.
you're telling people to vote as long as you're telling people
Yeah.
to vote.
It's like David Dobrik when he hosted a giveaway for a Tesla, and he had, like, everyone that had to enter also had to register to vote, and I think he got, like, 17,000 people. No, that's not the statistic. I'm gonna get the statistic wrong, so I'm not gonna say it, but a ton of people registered to vote because of David Dobrik.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm
That's
like-
incredible.
I like him already, but that would be enough reason for me to like him if I didn't like him before.
Yeah. It really is like a different game with young people.
Yeah.
Like you really have to appeal to that like very specific audience. Like,
Yeah, because we're not in the habit of voting.
right, exactly.
It's not something we have thought about to do every year.
Yeah.
Because especially if you just turned 18 or just now getting to vote in, let's say, a presidential election like us, you just don't know what to do.
Right,
And we are
exactly.
so, like you say, fly by the seat of our pants type of people that it's hard to plan things
Yeah, exactly.
and plan out when you're going to get your ballot and whatnot.
I was actually reading a New York Times article that said that exactly. Like, voting is a habit that you have to build.
Right.
And that's just not something that young people have right now. Well, not right now. We're starting to build the habit.
Yeah, we're starting it for the next generation, so getting there. You will notice that any chance we have to drop the title of this podcast, we will
in
do
fact
it.
drop the title.
Yes.
But yes, this year specifically, though, I was reading another article. This one was from Politico. Young people are voting this year, specifically in like the early voting.
I have so much hope for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I also have to say I love that early voting is an option.
Me as well. Yeah, because imagine if you had to go in on November 3rd. Imagine how long the line would be.
Oh my gosh.
I can't. You said you even had to wait for early voting.
And I went on the first day.
That's
like
crazy.
The very first day that you could go.
Fortunately, I didn't have a line, but I thought I was going to. Like, I structured my day so I could have like 3 hours there if I needed it. And you see things on Twitter or Facebook about polling locations in some states where people waited like 7 hours.
Yes.
And I just think that's crazy. We should make voting more accessible for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, and the captions on those videos are always like, this is what democracy looks like. And I'm like, I don't think it is. I think that's what voter suppression looks like. But
wow, democracy was a weird way to spell voter suppression there. That they spelled it so weird.
Yeah. I will say I only had to wait in line about like 20 minutes or so. Like, it was not that long. But I didn't care how long I had to wait. I was going to vote.
But like going in to the polling location knowing that some people did wait for 7 hours, I felt like I had immense privilege to just walk in and sit down and take my sweet time and then reward myself with a Starbucks after because I didn't take up that much of my day. Like, it was so nice. But not everyone gets that luxury.
Like, thinking about those people that waited 7 hours, and then what if you didn't vote? Like, like, you have to go out and vote. Like,
other people are doing the work, let me say.
Yes, like, you have to be, like, in support of all these people that can't vote as easily as you can.
Yes, for sure. Even, like, the elementary school kids, they have, like, fake elections.
Yes.
And, like, Nickelodeon hosted, like, a fake election where all of these kids literally put in their votes for either presidential candidate. And if these kids that are just watching a Nickelodeon show can vote, I think everyone should be able to vote.
No excuse.
No excuse.
I will just point out, Joe Biden won that Nickelodeon election.
I was like the kids. Give it up for the kids. It was very interesting.
Yeah.
To see their opinions. Yeah.
I don't know how many of them actually, like, feel strongly about it.
Yeah, that's true. They might just do it based on how they look or something. But like, if you think about parents. It, most kids do take their political views from their parents until they become adults. That's just normal. So.
Right. Oh my gosh. I have a really, like, kind of scary story almost. So
I'm ready.
I remember being on the bus. It was the year of Obama running against Romney. Or I guess Romney running against Obama. And on this bus, I was in, I think, 7th grade, so, I was sitting in the back of the bus.
Obviously, because Amanda was a cool kid.
Right. But these, like, young kids, like, 1st or 2nd grade, in the front of the bus started chanting, Mitt Romney, Mitt Romney.
No, I have memories of that kind of stuff going on, too.
That's, like...
Which is weird because they probably did not know anything about Mitt Romney.
Right. It's like, I don't want to discourage young children from having political opinions, because you can definitely have political opinions. I encourage that. As long as you are educating yourself and not just spewing what you've been told.
Yes, I agree. I had a friend, I think this was the year that John McCain ran against Obama. Was that his first year?
I think so,
I'm forgetting,
yeah.
But... we were in, like, literally 4th grade. Like, we were not that old. And she was so adamant about telling everyone how she liked John McCain and all of this stuff. And I was like, I was so confused because I didn't even really know what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that my uncle had given me an Obama shirt, and I did not know who Obama was. But I was like, oh, like, why do you like him so much? Like, why would you be voting for him in our little fake election? And she was like, well, my dad is, so obviously I am. And I was like, that's so interesting. And at the time, I didn't really think much of it. I was like, okay, whatever, makes sense. But now you see that, like, that is how kids form their opinions at first.
Right,
It is
exactly.
just passed down.
Yeah. And I'll say, like, when I was younger, before I got to be of voting age, I literally had no idea. My parents aren't really, like, political at all. Like, I still, to this day, don't know which way they vote, which, like, I kind of appreciate in a way.
I do as well. And I realized my mom and my dad don't really know which way either of them are voting. My mom didn't ask my dad, which I thought was interesting because I feel like if I was in a relationship, I would probably talk about that with my significant other. But maybe it's a generational thing.
Yeah.
And they just respect each other's opinions either way.
For sure. But now, especially this year, for this election specifically, I feel like I am a lot more educated. I'm not going to say that I, like, know everything there is to know, but I definitely feel a lot more confident in the opinions that I have. I feel like I used to have opinions but not really have anything to back them up, or like I wouldn't
express that opinion because I knew I didn't have anything to back it up. So I was like, well, there's no use in me trying to argue that if I am just saying this because I think it's true.
I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna stay out of politics.
Yes. Oh, that privileged mindset of I'm staying out of it.
Yeah.
But I feel a lot of adults in my life were like that up until now. At least, for sure.
Yeah, that's how my family has been for a long time, and it was I like admired that for a really long time.
Right, because it seems like you're exercising restraint almost, and that is like a very positive quality. But now I view it so differently.
Yeah,
I'm like, that is just a little bit of privilege that you're showing. If you want to stay out of politics,
just a little bit.
Yeah, but now, like you said, we have become more educated. I mean, I follow a lot of politicians on Twitter now. We watched the debates. That was interesting. That was all things that I wouldn't have done in high school. Because I just didn't know and frankly didn't care enough to participate.
I will say, over quarantine as well with my family, we had a lot more political discussions than we've ever had in the past.
Oh, the political discussions I had as well.
I would like to put that responsibility on me. I was the one who brought up the politics because I always am nowadays.
I love that.
But I feel like we actually had some, like, very good conversations.
Okay, and normalize bringing up politics with your family, you guys.
Exactly.
Normalize that, because even if the conversation doesn't go well or doesn't go how you wanted, you know you initiated that, and that is an accomplishment. Like, it's all about getting there. Let me drop the title again real quick.
And I really think these are conversations that we should be having, because I am so sick of the, like, at the family table, don't bring up politics or religion.
Oh,
like,
me too.
But why not? These are good conversations to be having.
Also, I think a lot of people in this political climate have been just complaining or saying, like, wow, America is so divided right now. Like, political conversations are so divisive. But I think the more that we talk about it, the less divided we'll be.
Exactly.
Or at least the less uneducated and ignorant we'll be.
Exactly.
So we'll be able to hear other people's perspectives.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's the refusing to have the conversation that makes it so divisive. Like,
it's the refusing political conversations for me.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, totally. Yeah, but overall, I feel like we had such a good conversation about voting and almost what it means to us, because now it's such a big deal. Yeah. There's so much weight that is placed on voting now.
Absolutely.
So, if Instagram hasn't told you a million times to go vote yet, you all, I hope you all vote.
Please
We are encouraging you to vote.
Yes, I will stand. You can quote me on that.
Yes.
I'm Amanda Mauer, and I am encouraging you to vote.
I'm Ellie Kinney, and I approve this message. The political campaigns really get me too. Yeah. I'm kind of sick of them. So I'm glad for that to be over.
Yes, me too.
But yeah, so everyone get out and vote before or on November 3rd. We hope that you have as fun of an experience voting as we did. I feel empowered still. I'm kind of riding on that high right now.
Yeah,
and I think I will be until we hear the results.
I agree.
So until then, we're holding out hope.
Yeah, that, like, sorry, I know we were trying to end the conversation.
No, you're good.
But that, like, period, because we don't know with the absentee ballots, we don't know if we'll know on November 3rd
which
who
is
the
kind of
winner
scary.
is. Yeah, so that period of, like, however long it takes is just going to be full of anxiety.
A little bit, but we're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there. And we know that we did our part.
Exactly.
It's out of our hands now. We've
Yeah,
done what we
at some
can
point
do.
you do have to accept that it's out of your control. And if it's best for your mental health right now to stay off Instagram or Twitter or just mute the political posts right now because you know you've done your part, I encourage you all to do that as well. I know I had to do that just because it gets to be a lot and we're also in a pandemic. So
right,
things can get tough.
Yeah, there's a lot of things happening right now. So take some time for yourself.
Definitely.
Listen to our podcast.
Yeah, and just reflect.
Yeah.
Have a little reflective self-care moment.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can do that with us. Well, to sign off, thanks for listening. We encourage you all to vote if you haven't already. I'm Ellie.
I'm Amanda.
And we'll see you next time on Getting There.